Hello everyone, this is Priya, Ranadive at Infinite Potential. I've always been telling in all my videos how blessed I am to be a mother because motherhood has taught me so many things which I didn't know before I was a mother, and have learned so much from my child. But you technically don't have to be a mother or a parent to understand a lot of things from kids. I think each one of us as an individual at some point in time has had an encounter with a child, and if you're observant you would see that there's so many things that you can actually learn from these little kids, and that's what exactly I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to talk about some things that you can actually learn from these little kids, which I think we'd forgotten long back and long enough, and if we try and imbibe that in our personality, I think we can really go a long way. You just have to be childlike once again. So here I'm going to talk about typically 5 different things that you can actually learn from kids. Let's get started. Number 1, forgiveness. You have seen that a child never really keeps anything to his heart. If you shout at him, he will possibly get angry for a while, but it doesn't last longer. He'll come back to you, he'll cuddle you, he'll smile, and he would just hug you with a lot of warmth and compassion. So it'll be great if as adults we imbibe that in our personality, where if we have any grudges against anybody in our lives, we can just let go of that and talk it out and possibly work out that relationship rather than holding back with those egos and tensions within the relationship. Second thing, fearlessness. I've talked in my previous video on communication skills that there are only 2 real fears in life as a child. One is the fear of very loud noise, and second is the fear of falling down. Other all fears are learned. You must have seen a child is absolutely fearless in whatever he does. He runs, he walks, he jumps, he does everything with complete trust. In the process of him going wrong nowhere, because he doesn't understand what fear is. So for him it is all about doing and failing, possibly. Just taking an example of a child starting walking by himself. He falls down so many times, but he still gets up and he learns walking. And likewise it applies to us when we possibly learn cycling by falling off a cycle at least 100 times, and that's how we learned cycling. But we didn't give up on that ability of fear of getting hurt. And it'd be great if as an adults we again adopt that fearlessness and pursue our dreams with complete conviction and trust in the process and ourselves of achieving those dreams. 3 is compassion and warmth. I had these 2 little birds in the house, and unfortunately, because they were so tiny, they had a very short lifespan. But my son and my husband had developed a lot of attachment to these birds, especially with my son who's just 4 years. And when they died, I could see him crying, and he had developed so much of attention and so much of impact of their death on him that he went silent for a couple of days. So that's such an amazing thing. As an adult, I don't think that we have so much of attention to other species, other living species, or other breed other than human beings. It'd be great if we have the same amount of compassion and love towards nature, towards other living beings than just human beings, of course human beings included. So that's an amazing thing that we can learn of being compassionate to the whole of environment and nature, with equal responsibility towards them as we have towards each other as an individual. um, Fourth is go-getter. You've seen a child has so much of clarity, he has so much of focus on what he really wants. But as an adult, I think we're very confused individuals. We don't really know what we want. It doesn't happen in the case of a child. He's pretty clear. If you tell him that he wants to go to a park, he exactly knows where he is headed. And when you're reaching close to a park, he'll just get off the bike or the car or anything that he's into, and he'll just start running towards that particular ride because he's so clear that he's going to be playing on that particular stuff out there. So I think as an adult, we kind of filtrate with so many environmental limitations and limitations within ourselves, our own inhibitions, that we don't really achieve our dreams or goals, and we possibly deviate or don't want to achieve them any longer because we think that circumstances are not like that. They are not suitable for achieving. But I think if we hold on to those dreams, irrespective of whatever circumstance we are in it, we have that go-getter attitude, completely focused on that goal, on what we want to achieve. I think we can, with that childlike attitude of being so happy by achieving that particular desire, we can definitely achieve those dreams. And lastly, being flexible, especially from the age group of maybe 1 to 7, you can easily mold child into whatever you want him to be as an individual, because that is the age group typically where he listens to you and you can instill any core values that you want in him. Then he being a grown adult, because as you grow up, he becomes more social, and then he has those societal limitations on him, and he has developed those belief systems by then. But as a child, you don't have them, and you can absolutely mold them. You can instill a lot of learning skills, a lot of activities that you want him to learn through putting him into different classes or curriculum or assignments, that he can grow as an individual. But I think as we grow up, we tend to become little less flexible, because we become so comfortable with the environment or the culture that we follow as we grow up, that we stop learning. And we stop growing, therefore. So it'll be great if we are open to learning, if we are open to exploring, if we don't limit ourselves, saying that this is only much that we can do and this is the only thing that we want to do, but rather we challenge ourselves, become more flexible in learning new things, being a new hobby. It is never too late. If exercising, it is never too late to possibly start dancing or learning anything new. It is only going to make you a better individual ultimately. So why not go out there, be a little flexible in your thoughts, and shed all those limitations, and achieve more feathers to your caps. So these were the 5 core things that you can actually learn from a child. But apart from this, I think there are 2 important things that you can extract from a child, which you don't really get from a child, but you get through a child, which means some things you don't learn from a child, but it makes you an individual being around a child, and that is patience and perseverance. Children absolutely don't listen to you, they just do whatever they want, but you can't say anything to them, and therefore it becomes very important that you adopt to that nature of a child, and therefore you automatically tend to become more patient, and you develop a lot of perseverance to deal with a child. um, Very important. And lastly, when you're in child's, typically you're in school, so you write a lot, but as you grow up, you give up on that habit, because we're so techno friendly that we're all on mobile phones and laptops, so we barely write. But it'll be great if we conceive that habit in us on a daily basis, to write something or the other, write your goals, because that becomes then very serious thought that you want to achieve something in life, or write whatever you feel, positive, negative, so that it helps you articulate your thoughts, it gives you more clarity, and it also improvises on your handwriting especially. And it'll be great that you go back to your roots from where you started in life, and then imbibe the qualities all over again in you, and you know, as a child you only constantly keep growing, and that's because you are that way. And as an adult you are only limited to doing certain things, and therefore you stop growing. But if you really want to grow in life, you have to instill those childlike ability in you to grow and become a better version of yourself, which I think is and should be a constant process of life. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and these were some things I could think of being around a child, my own son, on a daily basis. If there is anything else that you think that you have observed that you can imbibe from a child, do let me know in the comment section below. And till then, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.